Hello everyone. This is going to be a video on how to take your code and push it to GitHub. That is, if you didn't initially create a repository, clone it and write your code there. This happens to me more often than I'd like to admit, where I just kind of start dabbling on a side project and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is worth saving. I should probably have this in GitHub. And then go, oh, crud. So then I make a repository, I clone it, I copy all the files over, and then push it to GitHub. Not too big of a pain, but there is a better way to do that. So let's see what that is. I just have a Dagster pipeline I was fooling around with here. And you'll be able to see that code on GitHub. I'll link it down in the description. So here I am in my GitHub, and I'm just going to go to your repositories. I was already there, but let's make sure we're all on the same page. Click New, and I'm just going to call this a simple Dagster pipeline. And the description can just be the same. Okay. I'm going to create the repository, and here I will have an SSH link. I'm going to want to copy that and come back here to my code, and I'm going to git init. If you look here, I have my files. I do have a git ignore, which is very important, especially if you have things like service accounts, env files, sensitive information you do not want bad actors to get a hold of. So make sure that's in your git ignore. You can use wildcards. Like here, I don't want any of the files that start with test. That was just researching errors I was doing. I don't want anything from the Google directory, any of my Parquet files, or my .env file. I didn't use an asterisk there because I do have an env template, and I would like that pushed. So I'm just going to git init, and let me grab my notes, and we can do Git Status, and you notice these are all the files that are listed. Try to make that a little bigger without it being too crowded. That's kind of important to look at because looking at this, I can tell that I got my git ignore correctly configured. If you accidentally got one of these wrong, you could Google that, but I believe it's git restore. I've got a note on here because I've done that. And then the bad file, whatever you want to call it. If I saw my JSON service account in here, I would run this to remove it from being staged. I would then add that to my git ignore, hopefully correctly this time, and then run git add again to make sure it's not included. Okay, so we have those added. Now we will want to make a commit. And if you accidentally do commit some sensitive information, GitHub's pretty good these days about recognizing passwords, service accounts, API keys, and shutting those down. I do have a video on how to remove those from your Git history, or commit history, I should say. I'll link that down in the description as well. And I'm just going to say initial commit. Oh. Git add. There we go. I guess I didn't I did Git Status, but I didn't do Git Add. Okay, so we have a Git repository. We have the files added. They are committed. Now it's going to want to know, well, where do they go? Okay, so we need to do git remote add origin. And this is going to be that same SSH I copied just a moment ago, but git remote add origin at the beginning. I'll run that, and I believe I should be able to push now. Set remote as upstream. Let's see if just running this resolves that. All right. And we can check. I think I need to push. Nope, that did it. And then if we look here, nothing sensitive in here. Although I should have versions of these pinned. That would be best practice. So, well, there you go. And then, of course, probably the easiest way, and I would probably say best practice, would be to go ahead and clone this, move your sensitive files over. When you commit and push, those sensitive files will not be pushed as long as, make that a little bigger. Never sure how big to make these, make the screen. As long as they're in the git ignore, you'll be fine. Just because going forward, it becomes a little confusing where, so if I was coming back to work on this and I'm like, oh, simple Dagster pipeline, and then I do ls grep, or I'm trying to cd into it, and it's like, that isn't on your computer. Well, locally, it's in a directory called Dagster, whereas in GitHub, it points to simple Dagster pipeline. I think that's the mantra in Python. Explicit is better than implicit, and I definitely agree. So there you go. So hopefully you found this useful. I will actually probably be coming back to watch my own video many times because I do this way too often. But that's it for this video, and I'll see you in another one.